Hello there, welcome back to my views on news. Viewers, some discussions have been held in Tigray about Fano. TPLF has held some high level meetings and discussions focused on the armed escalation in the Amhara region. We'll have a detailed look at what was discussed, what options does Tigray have. What is Tigray going to do? Is it going to join Fano? Is it going to oppose Fano? Is it going to stay neutral? Details for you in this video. Before that, a correction. Last night, I showed you a clip from Dubai, United Arab Emirates, where a maskell program was organized at a church, but some Oromo women were not allowed to enter the church premises. I said the Oromo women were wearing Iricha clothes. Several viewers pointed out saying that the clothes worn by Oromo women were traditional Oromo clothes, which Oromo women wear. Nothing to do with Iricha, not specific Iricha clothing. So, correction. Now, Tigray, people say, Sajid, you try to drag Tigray into the conflict in Amhara. You keep on saying what Tigray thinks, what Tigray is discussing about the conflict in Amhara. Well, one point before I start this video. Tigray cannot keep itself aloof. When there is a conflict in Ethiopia, which has national consequences. Can you imagine Tigray would just keep on watching like a spectator? Especially when the outcome of this conflict is going to have impact on Tigray's claim to western and southern zones. Amhara volkai sagade koram alamata. Whatever happens in Amhara will affect the status of Volkait, Amhara sagade koram ra. So Tigray cannot keep itself at a distance. Imagine that Fano fighters start moving towards Addis Ababa. Imagine, we're just supposing. Imagine Fano fighters are advancing towards Addis Ababa. They manage to enter Oromia. So Tigray will watch like a spectator? No. Tigray will have to take a position. And discussions are always held in advance. That is what we call strategy making. Plans are made, strategies are made in advance. It does not mean that Tigray wants to jump into the conflict in Amhara. Discussions are forward thinking, which should happen. Discussions have been held in Tigray. Some high level TPLF members participated. Proposals were submitted about what Tigray should do. Now, Tigray has three options available about how to respond to the conflict in Amhara. And we know that Tigray's official position is that it is supporting Ethiopian federal government. Not militarily, because if you remember a few weeks ago, we saw a statement from Tigray interim government saying that Tigray interim government supports federal government regarding the conflict in Amhara. But recently things changed a little. If you saw that now Tigray is putting pressure upon both African Union and federal government. Tigray says African Union mediators are nowhere to be seen. Peace deal is not being implemented. Tigray wants dialogue with the other parties about pending issues. Tigray is asking federal government to hand over money, budget to Tigray. Tigray wants return of IDPs. It wants its territories back. Western southern zones. Amhara has claim to these territories too. So Tigray wants action from federal government. Federal government is trying to be slow dragging the issue because of the armed resistance in the Amhara region. Three options I think are available for Tigray. Which option will Tigray choose? First option, that Tigray starts supporting Ethiopian military openly, and Tigray joins hands militarily. Tigray fighters enter Amhara region, and both Tigray fighters, Ethiopian National Defense Force, they tried to crush Fano fighters. First option. Is this doable? We'll try to analyze that too. Second option, Tigray only involves itself to the extent of retaking of disputed territories, southern western zones. That Tigray decides to send its forces to Raya, Koram, Humera, Volkai, Sagade. Third option, Tigray decides to join Fano to remove PP, because PP removed TPLF. TPLF was in power in the form of EPRDF, but PP came into being. TPLF did not become part of PP, and TPLF was restricted to Mekelle only. So these are three options. All three options have their pros and cons. If Tigray starts supporting Ethiopian military in Amhara against Fano, it would lead to a large-scale civil war, because Eritrea could be involved too, maybe. Tigray cannot afford to vacate its borders. If all its forces are deployed to Amhara, obviously Tigray will be vulnerable to offensives from the north too. Tigray staying neutral is the fourth option, that Tigray just sits idle, which is not very likely because Tigray wants its territories back. Tigray wants quick return of its IDPs from Tigray to disputed territories. So fourth option, not likely. Tigray involves the extent of Volkait, Raya. Again, if it happens, obviously Fano fighters won't just sit idle. They'll try to enter Volkai, Thumera, Sagade, Koram, Raya. That can only happen if Ethiopian National Defense Force is on board. ENDF and Tigray fighters jointly administer the areas. That is the only option. Tigray joining Tigray joining Fano against military. It's also one of the scenarios being discussed. Is it likely? Difficult to say because Tigray has been accusing Amhara forces, Amhara militias of human rights abuses. Amhara forces, militias still in control of Volkait and Raya. So Tigray's joining hands with Fano isn't very likely. Overall, we can say it's a very difficult decision to be made for Tigray leaders. Discussions have been held in Tigray and no consensus could be reached. That is why the president of the party, Debretsion Gebremichael, TPLF president, and Tigray interim president, Getachew, they are the ones now who are going to decide, because several options were floated at the meetings held in Mekelle. Nothing was agreed, no consensus on any of these options. Now, my understanding is that Tigray will not align with federal government openly, firstly. Tigray will not join Fano. At the same time, Tigray won't stay neutral. Tigray wants its territories back through Ethiopian National Defense Force, through Ethiopian federal government. I think in coming days you will see more statements, more criticism of federal government from Tigray. Tigray would like to involve international mediators too, telling Ethiopian government to implement Pretoria deal, to start the return of IDPs and to give territories back to Tigray. Tigray wants to take its territories back through Ethiopian government, through Ethiopian National Defense Force. So this option is being tried by Tigray. What I have learned. That is why joint press briefing by Getachew Reda and Debretsion. Though the relations between Getachew and top TPLF tier were not very ideal a few months ago, but things have changed now because they are faced with internal opposition, internal challenges. Opposition parties are also posing a challenge, and the conflict in Amhara is turning into prolonged conflict. It won't come to an end in a day or two. It means that Tigray wants action, it wants implementation of Pretoria deal, it wants talks, whatever, but it wants action from the federal government. So you'll see, I think, more pressure from Tigray government on Ethiopian federal government in coming days. How will the federal government respond? Will it prolong the issue, postpone key decisions, and will federal government strategy be acceptable to Tigray? That we'll see in coming weeks. TPLF wants a restoration of its political status too, which is another key issue for TPLF because TPLF is not eligible to contest election in Tigray. It wants immediate restoration of its status. And secondly, it wants return of IDPs and determination of status of Raya and Volkite. These are key issues for Tigray. Budget, etc. are other issues too, reintegration of Tigray fighters too. But these are main issues are TPLF's restoration of status, IDP's return, and determination of status of areas. Accountability, etc. is not prime demand, top priority of Tigray. Top priority of Ethiopian government isn't as well. No side wants accountability. So coming days very crucial. Ethiopian federal government is in a difficult position now. What will it do? If it decides to hand over Raya Volkite to Tigray, to TPLF, Fano fighters will have more support. Those Amhara people who are not supporting Fano, who are neutral, they'll start supporting Fano fighters. Already Fano fighters have immense public support, but if Raya Volkite is given to Tigray, Fano fighters will get more support. If Ethiopian federal government decides that status quo should continue, Tigray will continue mounting pressure. So let's see how the federal government resolve this issue. I think that Tigray federal government relations could deteriorate in coming days. Thanks for watching.